We're live. Okay. No, you don't have to put the camera on, Uncle. It's cool.
Huh?
You don't have to put the camera on.
Okay, I have to turn my camera on?
No, it's okay.
Huh?
Let's see. Okay, cool. We're good.
So I have to turn my camera on?
No, you're all right. You don't have to put your camera on. You're fine. Okay, let me just... Okay, so we're good and live on YouTube. BWTM Sports here with Uncle James Ali Bashir. Uncle, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Everything's good.
Fantastic. Great to have you back in the room. So we can talk about various topics. Okay, first and foremost, as we know, you have a fight coming up October the 6th, I believe.
5th.
God, I keep getting that date wrong. October the 5th.
Right.
With Ivana Habazin and Clarissa Shields. How is training camp?
Well, it's as good as it can get, you know. We're moving right along. We're moving into the last week. Next Saturday is showtime.
How's the meat and the vegetables in the pot going?
Yeah, we're still going. Still going. I got off track a little bit when I got back to the States. I thought I snuck and got some cookies and stuff, you know.
Okay.
I deviated a little bit.
Well, I was talking
I got
about
a weakness for that oatmeal cookies with raisins.
I was referring more to Ivana Habazin and her training camp. In terms of what
we're moving right along. I mean, whatever we don't have now, we're not going to get.
Okay. Are you happy with the sparring partners you've brought in?
Yes, I am. I'm very happy with the sparring partners because the girls that we brought in, they really pushed up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me being the person that I am, you know, I'm a perfectionist. Even when it's great, I still feel like you can do more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want more. I'm always pushing to get more, you know, from the individual I'm working with.
Okay. And in the training camp, are you satisfied with what you saw from Ivana enough to believe?
I'm never satisfied. I'm never satisfied. Like I said, I always try to get that extra push. You know, so I'm never satisfied.
But if you're never satisfied, then if you're never satisfied, when does the fighter know that you're satisfied with them to know that they're ready to fight?
Oh, I'm satisfied to the point where I say, okay, we're ready to go. But even when I'm ready to go, I still have that thought in mind that did we do enough?
But okay.
Is there anything?
Is there
anything else?
Yeah, but if you're thinking that way, surely some of that would rub off on the fighter themselves as well to have second doubt. If you're doubting, then wouldn't the fighter doubt as well?
Well, I don't let the fighter in on everything that I'm thinking. I don't let the fighter in on everything I'm thinking. Their business is to be sharp, to go into the fight sharp, thinking that they're at their very best. But me, myself, I'm a perfectionist, and it's always something more, you know? I mean, you figure I'm working with a girl that just started boxing at 21 years old. Ivana Habazin been boxing since she's 21 years old. Clarissa Shields has been boxing since she was 10. So it's always another stone that I want to turn over to see to make sure that we got this thing right because we work with somebody with a vast amount of experience. So I'm trying to push to get the best, to extract the best from Ivana Habazin going into the fight.
You know, I was thinking about that. I had this conversation with somebody the other day. I think I was talking to Apollo James Jackson. And I said to Apollo, listen, Chris has been fighting since she was very young, since a child. Ivan has been fighting as an adult, learned to fight more as an adult, 21 years old. So Uncle Bashir has got to close the gap. And the only way I would think you could close the gap is for it not to be a boxing match, but to be an actual fight. Because if it's just boxing alone, then, you know, Shields would have the 10 years more experience, the amateur pedigree and all that comes into it clearly.
Yeah, it comes in, you know, that's not a death sentence, though, you know, because
no.
Deontay Wilder's. Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah,
Deontay Wilder started at 21 years old. Look where he's at. But I do feel what you're saying, you know. Sometimes it's better to turn it into a fight as opposed to being technical. Because technically speaking, you know, Clarissa Shields has a great advantage.
That's what
you can't go out there trying to be a rocket scientist. You got to go out there and fight.
Because I've been saying that to many of these fighters that don't have Olympic pedigree and don't have Olympic gold or have that you know, decorated amateur career, you've got to take the only thing you've got that makes you similar with the guy that's got that experience is to take them into a dogfight. So they don't get time to think. They don't get time to use all that experience and give them a new experience. You know?
Yeah, you sort of like neutralize them.
Yes.
You sort of like bring the accomplished, the more accomplished fighter. You sort of like bring them to your level if you're pressing them.
Yes.
You know, you can't go out there being cute. You can't go out there playing, you know, rocket science. So you got to go out and fight.
Can you answer me? Can you answer me this then? Why is it that guys, when I generally watch a boxing match, and I know one guy's got far more decorated amateur experience, career, you know, established pro, why is it the opponents decide to box with them when they have limited or no real experience to go against that extensive?
Well, a lot of times it has to do with the trainers. Most of the trainers that's out there in boxing today are not teachers. They're trainers. They're exactly what the word implies. They're trainers. They're not teachers. You know, so they try to do by textbook. You know, this is how you jab. This is how you hook. This is how you throw counter right hands. You know, they try to do it that way. But teachers know when they outgunned, they say, well, this is the way we need to do it. Lloyd Hunnigan versus Donald Curry.
Yes.
Lloyd made it into a dogfight, you know. Lloyd made it into a dogfight, and Donald wasn't ready for that. Donald wasn't ready. Vernon
Forrest, the way he got knocked out. Vernon Forrest dominated Shane Mosley, and then he fought. Who was it he fought? Was it Mayorga? Was it Mayorga? Was it? Mayorga, exactly.
Mayorga took him out of his element. He took him out of his element.
Exactly.
He took him out of his element.
That's the perfect blueprint.
Twice he did it. Twice he beat Forrest. You know, he took him out of his element.
And this
it's just some styles that the accomplished boxer can't beat. But the individual has to be prepared to take those chances now, because you're gonna have to eat something in a fight like that. You're gonna have to eat. So you gotta be ready to roll the dice in order to win.
So this brings me nicely into tonight's fight of Errol Spence and Sean Porter. Now, for me, if I give you a game plan, you tell me what you think of that game plan. You're the experienced trainer or the coach, you know, mentor. The strategy I would say to Porter is he can't afford for Spence to settle. He's got to keep mid-range to up close on Spence's chest, keep Spence's back to the ropes, and just keep dogging on him and don't give him any time to breathe or give him any space, because if he does that...
Oh, you know, in short, it's simple for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that Porter has to make it a dogfight.
Right.
He has to make it a dogfight. He cannot break away from the norm, you know, from his normal style. He's got to make it a dogfight. He's got to be in close. He's got to cut that ring down to make Spence uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't, and if he's not able to do that, then it's going to be a rough night for Sean. You know, but he can't go out there trying to box with him.
Exactly.
You know? I think that would be a misnomer for him to try to do that there. He would try and put himself in a very, very bad position.
Suicidal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that would be to Spence's strengths, and that's where the body shots would come in. And that's how I could see Spence stopping Porter through the body shots, mid-range, long-range distance.
Well, you know, Spence, Porter got some good body punches too. He's a good body puncher. He's a very good body puncher, you know.
But he smothers his work.
Huh?
He smothers his work.
Yeah, well, smother is better than just being long range and get hit. You know, smother is better than being where Earl can land the body punches of his if you give him room to land them.
I was once told the safest place in boxing, in a boxing ring, is on the inside.
Yeah.
Good place to hide.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Porter doesn't have much of a choice here.
No, he doesn't.
You know, Earl is a couple inches taller than him. I don't know if he has the longer reach or not, but I know he's a couple inches taller. You can't let Earl start winging those body punches because he's a very powerful body puncher.
Here's the thing. I've said that Errol Spence is a good fighter, but I think he is being given too much credit for too little work. Your thoughts?
It could be the case. You know, I'm not privy to his amateur career. You know, it could be the case. I mean, Porter's been highly visible since he's been a pro. He's been in some fights.
Yes.
Porter has been in some fights. He hasn't shied away from the competition. So I don't see where this fight is going to make that much of a difference to Sean Porter, because Sean Porter's been in there with the Ruiz of the welterweight division.
Exactly.
You know, so I don't see where this fight is going to make that much a difference in the mentality of Sean Porter, because he doesn't turn down nothing but his collar.
Yeah.
So I think that he's in a good place to handle whatever comes his way in that ring tonight.
See, in Spence's demeanor, I'm thinking to myself, breaking Spence down, his mindset is very much, I'm the bogeyman of the division. The way I look at it is, if I'm Porter, I'm thinking to myself, well, you think you're the bogeyman of the division. Who have you beat to become the bogeyman of the division? The bogeyman, it's a mythology about Spence being a bogeyman at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Sean Porter has the better credentials as far as competition, as far as facing off with the true guns of the division. Sean Porter's been in there, so he has the credentials. You know, I mean, Earl Spence is a fine fighter, but he hasn't been in with those guns. He hasn't been in with those tough guys.
It's very rare now that a young person that is being rated so highly and being looked so well upon by so many people, when the tough fights come along, that they come through the other side. Because I find a lot of them have been, smoke has been blown up their backside so much that they haven't had the opportunity to really focus and graft and fight those fights that actually deserves the credit they should have fighting those fights. Instead, they've had a lot of people.
The fact of the matter is, once that bell rings, only the fighter and God Almighty knows what's going through that fighter's heart and mind. Can they stay to the game plan? It's so many pros and cons of going into a big fight, such as the case with Habazin and Clarissa Shields. There's so many pros and cons. Can the fighter stick with the game plan? Can the fighter
adapt?
Grab best is fatigue. Can he deal with the fatigue factor? Can they stay with the game plan when they get fatigued? You know, will they start dropping their hands? Will they make themselves vulnerable to counter punches when they get tired? Because as sure as I'm talking to you right now, every fighter gets tired. But it's the fighter who can deal with the fatigue factor and come through and stay with the game plan and keep pushing through. That's the one that's going to be successful. It's easy for us to sit back and say, well, you know, this, that, or the other. You know, but you know, like in the Anthony Yard case, I think that the people around him left the door open for criticism when they said that he did not do sparring. You know, he left the door open for criticism. Outside of that, you can't criticize what Yard did because he was in there. You know, but he just didn't know how to deal with the fatigue factor. When he got fatigued, he was very vulnerable. You know, very vulnerable. And then when he went down, you know, there are many people who said that he might have gotten up, but hey, you know, he did what he can do, but he couldn't deal with the fatigue factor. So you can have a teacher, you can have a trainer. I think this is the longest camp I've ever done with somebody. You know, it's the longest time I've ever been in a camp, just trying to correct different things, because Yvonne and I we've worked barely 1 year together. So I've stayed in this camp a long time trying to tighten up the little flaws and stuff that she has. But bottom line is that when the bell rings, Sean Porter, Earl Spence, Ivana Habazin, Clarissa Shields, when that bell rings, they're going to have to collect everything that they got from the training camps, everything that they got from the teachers, the trainers, and they're going to have to put it on the line inside the ring. You know, one flaw, one mistake could cost them the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you gotta collect everything to go to the final countdown. You just gotta be correct for that time that you're in that ring.
So, what's it been like now? You're in Flint, or you are in Flint now, right?
No, I'm in Detroit, Michigan now.
You're in Detroit, okay. So what's it like being in Detroit now?
I spent a lot of years here in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was working with Emmanuel Stewart, I spent a lot of years here in the city of Detroit. Most people around the world believe that I'm from Detroit. I spent so many years here. So most people identify me here. I know a lot of people here in Detroit. It's like a second home for me here in Detroit, Michigan.
What does it feel like when you go back? Do you get the memories start coming flooding back when you go to Detroit?
Oh yeah. You know, yeah. The memories start coming back. I'm driving here, I'm driving there, and I'm saying different places that I've traveled to or been to. You know, different restaurants and the environment. Period. You know, it's like a second home to me, Detroit, Michigan.
I bet you there are probably people you left, and you could come back now and they'll still be doing the same things you did when you were there.
Well, most of the people here, most of the boxers that's pros now, they were little kids when I was here.
Wow.
They were little kids. And when I say little kids, I mean 11, 10 years old.
Wow.
And now they're grown men. You know, 25, 26, 27, 28 years old now, you know.
Isn't the WBC light middleweight champion of the world from there? Tony Harrison.
Yeah. I'm training in the gym. I'm training in Tony Harrison's gym.
Oh wow! How is he?
He's doing fine. Tony Harrison's doing fine.
Glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it.
I'm in his gym with him and his father and his brother every day.
Send him my love and tell him I've been trying to reach out to him for the longest while, but he ain't reading his Twitter messages.
Okay, yeah.
I did try and ring him. I did try and ring him to catch up to see how he's doing, and to congratulate him for being champion.
Yes, I'll tell him that. In fact, when we finish, I'll give you his number and stuff. You can call him direct. You know? Okay, cool. It'd be nice to talk to him, find out how the champ's doing. Yeah, Tony Harrison is doing okay.
He's a good guy. He's a good man.
He opened his doors. He opened his doors to us, made me feel at home. You know, invited me right in. You know.
Wow. Wow, wow. How is he? I mean, how's he doing in terms of training for the rematch?
Well, I think he's just getting back into the mix now. He's up walking on his ankle and stuff. So he, whatever was hurting him down the bottom, he's trying to get back to it now. So I guess he's going to get ready shortly.
That's fantastic to hear. Okay. So
Tony Harrison is a real tough fighter. He's a tough fighter.
You know what? That's another one of those guys that you tipped me off on, and I phoned and I contacted, and another guy that's gone on to be a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
So
I told you when we first started talking to Tony Harrison, I told you, and this was 2 years before he became champion. I told you Tony Harrison was a talent, that he had everything that it took to be champion. And he put it together and he became the champion.
Oh yeah.
He put it together, he became a champion. He's a fighter. Plain and simple. That's the best I can give it to you. Tony Harrison is a fighter.
Yes.
He ain't gonna lay down. He's gonna fight.
I'd like to see Ray Robinson in that mix at welterweight.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I think he's a good fighter.
Ray Robinson is still plugging along, and I think that Ray Robinson belongs right there. That welterweight division is looking very, very good. There's a lot of guys right in the fringe contendership that's really, really good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Robinson is one of them.
He's one of the guys. He's one of those guys. If you listen to his backstory and everything, he's got one of those guys. He's got the making of a champion right there. It's just the right time, the right moment.
Yeah. I like Ray Robinson. I followed him.
Yeah.
I followed him for the last 3 years and stuff. He's had his ups and downs, but he's a fighter.
He absolutely is. Absolutely. On the subject of fighters, and this subject might upset you a little bit, but Nigel Benn, 55 years old, come back against Saki Obika.
I think it's a dangerous fight. Saki Obika is, it's not a walk in the park for anybody. He's a very strong guy, Saki Obika. I don't know what Nigel is trying to prove. I'm not in his head. I'm not in his life. But at 55 years old, that's a bit much. And he hasn't had a fight in the last 10 years, 15 years.
23 years, Uncle. 23 years.
That's it. I mean, and then you're coming back, you fight a guy like Saki Obika. I just don't think it's good for boxing. I think it gives boxing a black eye. Certainly if he came back and won a world title, we definitely give boxing a black eye. It's just not good. I'm not even interested in that. I'm not interested in watching that.
Look, I've been saying this for years, and I think it's getting to the point where somebody's going to listen. There needs to be a Masters of boxing. There's a Masters of football. There's a Masters of cricket. There's a Masters in golf. There should be a Masters of boxing where guys over 40 or over 45 can come back and still ply their trade. I'd love to see James Toney and Bernard Hopkins. I'd love to see a Joe Kawasaki versus Carl Froch. I'd love to have seen a George Foreman versus Larry Holmes.
When people retire, their brains, their intestines, their muscle, everything goes back to normal. And then when you come back so many years after, reignite that, try to bring this drive back. They can seriously hurt themselves. They take a one shot. The chin today probably is not what the chin was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
One shot on the chin, one shot on the temple could paralyze them.
Yeah, I can tell you that firsthand. I've got a headache today. That's all I'm saying.
It can paralyze them. A lot of things can happen with age. You think that you got it until you're in there and you get hit with a shot and the body doesn't react the same. You take Ray Leonard when Sugar Ray Leonard came back to fight Hector Camacho.
Oh boy.
I think Camacho got rid of him in what, 1 or 2 rounds? Whoever heard of Sugar Ray Leonard being stopped in 1 or 2 rounds? The referee jumped in to stop the fight because Ray had nothing. He had nothing. He couldn't do nothing.
Bo Bland from Truth and Facts About Boxing always tells me that's his favorite picture of Sugar Ray Leonard, with him laying through the ropes against Camacho.
Well, Sugar Ray Leonard was one of my most favorite fighters in history.
Well, he wasn't a fan of him. I take it he wasn't a fan.
The guy had it all.
Yes, of course, love Ray.
You know, so he was one of my most favorite fighters in the history of boxing. He had it all.
There's been whispers of people comparing Ray Leonard to Errol Spence. I don't know why, but it's there. People talking about it.
No. Earl Spence is good in his own right, but he ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, you got to tell them that. This is why I say
Sugar Ray Leonard can box. Sugar Ray Leonard can punch. Sugar Ray Leonard can take a punch. Sugar Ray Leonard can slug. Sugar Ray Leonard can do it all. You know, Earl Spence is not no Sugar Ray Leonard. He's a really good fighter, but he ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard. I
know that much. The Ben fight is a 10-round fight, and also to add to that, it's going to be pay-per-view. Are you buying it?
No, I don't care. I don't want to watch it. I'm not.
You're lying, Uncle. You're lying, Uncle. You're lying. Because come fight night, somehow or the other, you're gonna watch the fight. I'm telling you.
No, I doubt very seriously about watching. No, I'm not interested. Sakio Bika was never a guy that I really liked watching anyway. Sakio Bika was a strong, rugged fighter, but ugly to watch. You know, ugly to watch. A lot of head busts, always cuts with Sakio Bika, you know.
Yes. Kawasaki struggled with him. I remember that fight. Ward struggled with Bika. And Nigel Benn thinks he's going to come out from 23 years and fight Bika and beat Bika. Unless him and Bika have had some conversation in an Australian gym and say, look, mate, this is what'll happen. I'll hit you this right hand and you're going to fall over. That's about us. But I don't understand how that would be closure if that was the case. And I don't take Nigel Benn to being a guy that would be in for the fix. I just don't see that.
No, but what is he? Is this a one-shot fight?
Well, I'd just like to add that Evander Holyfield is actually coming back next year as well.
Huh?
Yeah, he's coming back next year. Yeah, 2020. He's coming back, Evander Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield said he's going to fight next year.
Yeah, 2020.
Oh, man.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, there should be some kind of a commission or something that stops these guys.
Oliver McCall's still fighting.
Lord have mercy.
Uncle.
If I was a fighter, I wouldn't even take a fight with Oliver McCall. I would turn the fight down.
Uncle,
I wouldn't get in with him.
Uncle, are you going to make a comeback?
Yeah, I am. From my bedroom to the kitchen. You think somebody gonna open? You think I'm gonna open an old can of worms and have somebody hitting on me? I told you it was some years ago.
Uncle, pay-per-view. Pay-per-view.
It must have been. No, listen to me. It must have been about 18, 19 years ago.
Yes.
Maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
I was working with a featherweight kid.
Yes.
And small part of this show. So I said I'll move around with you. And I got in and I moved around first round, second round, third round. He started picking it up on me. You know, I was tiring a little bit, but I wasn't tired to the point where I wasn't coherent.
Right.
And I got through the third round, and then I started thinking that, that maybe I belong here. You know, that maybe I belong in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then midway through the fourth round, he hit me with a body punch. You know, and then I got hit with I remember getting hit with a stiff jab right in the center of my eyes, right between my eyes, in my forehead. And when that jab hit me, my mind said, "What in the hell are you doing in here? You need to get out
quick." Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what came to my mind. My mind said, "What the hell are you doing in here? What are you doing?" You know, the body punch, and then the shot that's on top of the temple. I said, no, I need to get out of here. And I haven't put on the gloves since then.
Yeah.
I never did that again. I was sore for days. And I said, no, anything. And you know, your enthusiasm can get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Nigel Benn hasn't been in there. You know, I'm sure he has some spawn or something to get.
He's been he hasn't stopped training since the day he quit. That's what you know. He's always in the gym, every day.
Okay, all right. But I wouldn't try it.
Jonathan Banks says he's thinking of making a comeback as well.
Huh?
Jonathan Banks says he's thinking of making a comeback as well, according to Trap House Boxing.
I think Jonathan Banks is just talking. Jonathan ain't gonna come back. I doubt very seriously if he comes back. You know, Jonathan's got to be at least 32, 33 years old now. For what? You know, what is he gonna do? The better part of his years is behind him now. Why would he do that? Why would he come back now? And he's embarked on a new career as a boxing trainer, so why would he try to come back now? And why would Holyfield come back? You know? I just don't understand it. But, you know, like I said, I'm not those individuals, you know?
He says,
not those individuals.
He said he wants to focus on training GGG first and then maybe.
Yeah, okay. I don't know where he's going to, because there's a whole flock, it's a whole new crew. It's a whole flock, a whole new crew of young fighters that's coming. And then you're going to jump back into Johnson got to be 33, 34 years old now.
Well, it'd be a nice opponent for Tyson Fury.
Yeah. It'd be not just Fury, for a whole lot of people. Only thing I can see is for him to come back and try to make some money doing it.
Of course. Yeah, I think so.
You
know. On the subject of Fury, did you see his last fight?
Yeah, I saw his last fight.
What do you think?
I said that Deontay Wilder was the man to beat the heavyweight division, and I'll stand by that. I don't think that Fury gets out of 7 rounds with Deontay Wilder.
7 rounds, and I'll say he gets out of 5 rounds. He's got an allergic reaction to Deontay's right hand, and that's going to have 10 pounds more in it this time round.
Maybe 15. I would bring Deontay in there at 227, between 227 and 230.
Well, you'll see how fast Tyson Fury finds a way not to fight in February if he blasts out Ortiz in a couple of rounds, which I think he'll do. I really don't think he's going to blast Ortiz.
That cut, that's a bad cut. Both of those cuts are bad. And the thing about cuts like that, they have
don't
to
heal
from it. They have to heal from it. They'll heal, but they need time. Those cuts have to heal from the inside out, not from the outside in. You have to heal from the inside out.
Yeah, but those
it might take 6 months. It might take 6, 7 months. Those cuts. When I've seen those cuts in boxing, it always tells me that's a guy who's, when they're going up and down in weight all the time, the elasticity of the skin starts to go, which means they're more susceptible to cuts. Could be.
Well, I've seen a lot of older fighters that happen with, where they've been messing around with the weights. They seem to get cut easily because they mess around with the weight all the time, going up and down in weights. And Fury, as you know, has had lots of weight problems.
His father was very vocal about the trainer. They're getting rid of the trainer. Well,
his father said if he goes anywhere near Wilder, he'll get knocked out. And John Fury knows his boxing.
Yeah. He just finding that out. I knew that then from the first time they fought. Wilder just got that equalizer. He's got an equalizer, and if he touches you, what, you got problems?
And these boxing fans are not getting the message that Fury's not getting any better. He's doing the same things over and over and over again against lesser opposition.
Because him, like a lot of other boxers in boxing today, they think that I don't need teachers. I don't need trainers. I've been doing this long enough, and I know how to do this. All I need is somebody that's going to put a towel on me and
hold some pads
and do the regular cheerleading thing.
Yeah, that's it.
But the fighter today, the boxer today, does not have a respect for the teachers, and they don't have respect for the trainers. You know, very rarely will you find a trainer and a teacher.
You know what? I'll go one step further. I'll go 2 steps further. I don't think the fans, boxing fans, have respect for top trainers. And I'll go one step even further than that. I don't think commentators and broadcasters have respect for top trainers either. I think they are lazy. They're lazy.
They're yuppies. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to work. They're quick to put a label on a trainer. They're certainly quick to put a label on a teacher. But they never go in depth. They just put a label on this, that, or the other. You know, and that's a problem. That's a problem. The fans are not educated. And the people that's giving advice, the trainers, they're not educated. Most of them are not educated. You know, they'll look at something for what it is and say, "Oh, the trainer for that person is the trainer for that person." All you have to do is just listen into those corners. Listen into the corners, and that will tell you who has direction inside this sport. You know? That'll tell you. Just listen into the corners, listen to the fights. That's, you know, when they go, say, make a left or make a right, or either go forward or go backwards, that'll tell you. That'll tell anybody who's looking to learn. But it's not, boxing isn't today what it was 25, 30 years ago.
It's become a joke. And by the way, are you tuning in to the great fight between KSI and Paul Logan?
No, it doesn't interest me. It never caught my attention. I saw KSI somewhere, but it doesn't catch my interest. You know, it just doesn't catch my interest. I'm not attracted to it.
How do you feel about Billy Joe Saunders fighting on the undercard, the world champion on the undercard of 2 guys turning pro?
Billy Joe Saunders, I'm not attracted to him either. He's a good boxer, but something about him is just missing. I just can't. I'm not attracted to him. You know, I can care less if I ever see him fight again. I'm not attracted to him.
I get
just
that.
Boring to me.
I get it.
Just
I get
boring.
it. I get it.
Just boring. You know, it's just sitting down watching him is like watching paint dry.
You know, Devin Haney's on the undercard as well.
Devin Haney, I could watch him.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch him. He's an attractive little fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Some big fights out there for him.
Trap House Boxing asks, ask Uncle what does he think about Booker being in camp with Usyk?
Who?
Booker.
I think that was a wise choice to bring Booker in. A guy with his expertise to bring him in. I think it's a smart move for Usyk to have him there. I think it's a smart move for Booker to be there too, because Usyk will make him work. Usyk will make Booker work, you know. Booker just need to get in some shape and believe in himself. He needs to get into some good shape and believe in himself, because I can see Booker landing in that top 15. just got to get focused and get in some shape. And when I say shape, some mental shape. You know, some mental shape. And say, look, I can go out here and do this. I can go out here and get right there and get a title shot. No, because he has those kind of skills. But, you know, he's got to get serious. The clock is ticking on his life, on his career. He's got to get serious.
It says here, Billy Joe just said the purse he's getting is stupidly ridiculous. So basically, it's a money grab. And Billy is basically saying the same thing on Fight Hack today. Yeah, well, he's full of money, isn't it? It's full of money.
Yeah, well, you can't. Who are we to tell a guy that don't get the money?
Of course.
If he's getting paid, quite naturally he's going to do it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Quite naturally he's going to do it. If he's getting paid nice figures to do it, hey, you know, why not?
What are your thoughts on this upcoming fight between Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good chemistry. And I think either guy can win that fight.
Parker should be winning that fight, though, Uncle. In all honesty, there's nine.
But I'm saying Parker is not improving, though.
No, I know. His trainers that help him.
Derek Chisora is improving.
You think so?
Chisora is improving. Yeah. I watched the last 2-3 fights he had. He's improved.
No, he's not improving. I don't think he's improving. He might be stronger, but he looks like he's physically stronger on his back. I don't think he's improving, though. Same style.
Yeah, well, you know, those last 2 fights, I saw a dip with. Let me put it like this here.
Why, he got laid out by Dillian White. How can that be improving?
Let me put it like this here.
Yeah.
He improved his mental work, his enthusiasm. You know, his enthusiasm. Yeah, he got caught by Dillian White, but he got caught while he was gambling. Anything can happen in a fight.
He got caught the same way he got caught against David Haye. He punched himself out, missing with big wild punches, left himself exposed, got caught with the left hook. The same way that Haye made him miss and made him pay. It's the same way that Dillian White did the same thing.
I'm saying that he stands a good chance to beat Parker. Parker has disappointed me, you know. I mean, he lost the Dillian White fight, lost the Joshua fight, you know. And I thought that those fights were within reach.
You have to put. You got to put the blame on the trainer right there, because Dillian White, you know, has got a big left hook. That's his honey punch, and you know that Josie Parker moving straight and back against the ropes with a big left hook, with your hands down by the side, and you can't block a left hook. That's stuff you train in the gym. That's what the trainer should be telling you. You know, this guy's got a left hook. Move away from the left hook, or keep your right hand up. Keep your right hand up.
Well, that's the magic to a boxer and a trainer. You got to have chemistry in and out of the ring.
So what are you training? You fight a guy who's got a big left hook. Clearly, you've got to keep your hand up. Block the right hand. Come back with your own left hook. Or block the left hook, come back with your own right hand.
I see the fight. All right. Parker is a on and off fighter. He's on and off, you know.
He's got the hand speed.
Chisora, he's an on and off fighter. He's an on and off fighter. Chisora is in that fight. He's in that fight. It should be a good fight while it lasts, you know.
Yeah.
Chisora is in the fight.
Okay. Did you see the Hunter fight?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the way Michael looked in that fight.
You didn't?
I mean, you got the... Huh?
You didn't or you did?
No, I didn't. You know, it's just something missing there, you know, in that fight. He did what he had to do to win, but I've seen him look better. I've seen him look sharper.
Okay.
You know, it looked like he wasn't interested.
Povetkin's next, I understand.
For Hunter,
Yes.
it's a tough fight for Povetkin. It's a tough fight for Povetkin. You know, but Povetkin is not what he just fought. You know, it's a tough fight for him.
What do you do with Huey Fury now? There are people online that are saying that Huey needs to leave his father and go elsewhere. What do you think about this Huey Fury situation? Where can he go?
Well, he needs to definitely take another perspective. The father's got to bring in somebody to help him. Because like I said before, you know, fathers talk to sons all the time, and sons don't hear their father like they hear a stranger. So yeah, I would start thinking about, you know, getting somebody in there to help with him.
But what about if the let's say, for example, the father doesn't want anyone else in the camp to help, and he's like, no, I can do this by myself. Then what happens to the fighter?
Well, he goes out to pasture because it's not working. I mean, you know, it's not working. Every major fight that he's in, he's losing. He lost to Pulev. What fight did he lose before that did? He lost the Pulev fight, right?
Yep.
And he lost the Walker fight.
Yep.
Now he's lost this fight. You know, he's lost this fight. So that's he's three fights behind the wagon. You know, he's got to think of something. He's got to think of something. He's got to bring in somebody and say, look, I need some help here. Somebody's got to come in and give a different perspective.
That's if he wants it, or even wants to box, because he seems to me like a guy that's disinterested and don't want to box. Truth be said.
Then he doesn't. Yeah, well, he might not. He might be disillusioned now.
There are some guys who just like to fight. They just like to fight. I've got gloves and I like to fight. That's it. Win, lose or draw, I just like to fight.
Well, he's got to come up. He's got to come up with a different angle now, because he's behind the apple cart.
Okay.
He's behind the apple cart.
Here's somebody who seems to be with the apple cart. Daniel Dubois last night, 1-round knockout over Ebenezer Tete. Did you see that?
No.
Well,
Ebenezer Tete, I probably didn't want to see.
Oh my God.
Ebenezer Tete.
Oh God. Well, it lasted 1 round.
Yeah, well, they're keeping him busy. It was just a keep busy fight with Ebenezer Tete. I never heard of him and probably won't hear of him again.
I think he was a tourist, and by mistake he ended up in Frank Warren's office. And Frank said, "You're next for Daniel Dubois." Who, Dubois? Yes, Dubois. Is that a place to visit? Yes. Night night.
He said night night. Yes, I'm a tourist. I'm just in from Timbuktu. I got a job for you. I got a job for you. I'll take care of you, you know.
We'll take care of you. We'll bring you to.
A job for you. I'm gonna take care of you. You know. I've got a job for you. I'm gonna take care of you.
Oh, we'll bring you to Royal Albert Hall. It's a great place. Royal Albert Hall. Yes, yes. And you go night night. You go night night.
And you got a ringside seat to the action. When I say seat, I mean seat literally.
Oh dear. Dear me. You still there, Uncle? Yeah, Uncle's gone. He'll be back. Right. Yes, Uncle. Yes, Uncle. You there?
Yeah, cut off here.
Ruben or Mr. Guerrero, he has this real big, almost obsession with Joe Joyce. Can you explain to this man? He wants to see Joe. He thinks Joe Joyce is going to destroy Dubois, and I don't know where he's got that from. Can you talk to this man, please?
Yeah, he gonna destroy Dubois. He gonna destroy him. You know, trying to get past him. You know, Dubois is not an easy fight. Joe Joyce is a good fighter, but he has some things to prove. You know, and I think that Dubois is a capable guy for Joe Joyce to get in there with. And I don't see Joe Joyce just handling Dubois easily.
I don't at all. And cause Joyce ain't got no defense, and his punch is so slow.
No, I see Dubois handling Joe Joyce. I think he beats Joe Joyce. At this juncture in both their careers, I see Dubois beating Joe Joyce. You know, I don't know what people are seeing. Joe Joyce is a heavy-handed guy, but he's predictable. He's slow, and that's going to cause some problems, especially with a young upstart like Dubois.
He was also suggesting maybe he says he'll flatten Hunter. I said I don't know where he's going with that idea.
No, I think Michael Hunter will give Joe Joyce a boxing lesson.
Correct.
I think Michael Hunter give Joe Joyce a boxing lesson. It's not an easy fight.
He says that.
He's saying that Michael Hunter is easy fight, that he's not big enough and he's not strong enough. I'm telling you, he's a carbon copy of his father. His father gave people their ass.
Here goes. Here comes the debate. He's saying Joe Joyce. Now, when you talk about Joe Joyce, he's obsessed with Joe Joyce. He says Joe Joyce is a step too far. Joe Joyce has proven world level. Dubois' best win is British level. Don't believe the hype just yet about Dubois.
I'm just believing what I've seen thus far, and I still think that he beats Joe Joyce. He could possibly stop Joe Joyce.
I think so as well.
But I definitely think that Dubois, having seen both guys work up close and personal, I think that Dubois is in a better place to win that fight at this point.
Another guy I think will beat Joe Joyce if the fight happens, if they actually take the fight. Miller.
I'd like to see that fight.
I'd love to see that fight.
Yeah, I'd like to see that fight.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's a 50-50 fight because Jarrell comes in so heavy, he can't move, He can't move. If Jarrell got down, worked his way down, that's the kind of weight you got to work on.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get in a hot gym, and he's got to do some sparring in that gym, and he's got to take that weight off naturally. But at this point in both their careers, I don't know who would win that fight. But I would definitely like to see it.
Yeah,
I would definitely like to see
it. He said, Russian continues to say that too many people sleeping on Joyce. Miller would be easy work. Miller has no power.
Well, sounds like to me like the man know what he's talking about, but I'd like to see the fight nonetheless. I'd like to see the fight nonetheless and see what happens.
Trap House Boxing.
There's not enough contenders engage in other contenders.
That's true.
Everybody wants to stay safe and keep their records safe. this is what I was talking about early on in our conversation. That the fighters of yesteryear, Leotis Martin, Thad Spence, Jerry Quarry, Joe Frazier, Buster Mathis, and all of those guys, they crisscrossed the heavyweight division. They were always fighting each other. It was always good fighters versus good fighters.
Yeah, but you didn't have the nonsense of all the networks you got now, DAZN. So you got that issue of all the others. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, everybody trying to stay safe, That's why, what was it, Tom Schwartz, for instance. Tom Schwartz, who is Tom Schwartz? The Tyson Fury introduced Tom Schwartz to the world, Outside of there, nobody knew him.
Hey, and Wallin.
Yeah. And he put Wallin on the block because Wallin is a good fighter, but he wasn't getting no light. But now he showed that I'm capable. He showed through his efforts that I'm capable. I'm not just another face. I'm capable. I'm very capable. But again, Tyson Fury introduced him. You can't be a fighter if you're not fighting. The fighters that I work with, I want them to understand that, boxing is not a cakewalk. If you want to make something out of yourself, if you want to make strides in the thing, you're going to have to fight somebody. You can pad your record, so-called, you're getting experience and what have you. But at some point, you're going to have to put your feet in the sand and say, let's fight, if you're going to make something happen.
Okay.
I'm looking for Vlad Tsarenko next year to come out. I'm expecting Vlad Tsarenko next year to come out. All right.
Vlad Tsarenko versus Dave Allen.
It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for Dave Allen. It's a tough fight for Vlad Tsarenko because Dave Allen would be the best fighter that Vlad Tsarenko fought yet.
Vlad Tsarenko, Huey Fury.
Another tough fight because there's a mental hurdle that fighters have to get over too. It's not just physical; it's a mental hurdle. And Fury's been in there. He's been in there with Pulev. He's been in there with Parker. He's been in there with some pretty decent fighters, which Vlad Tsarenko has yet to encounter. The people that Vlad Tsarenko fighting now is on a level that conditions him for the big level. But Huey Fury has been in there. You can't take that away from him. He's been in there. Yeah,
they're good fights. I think they're good fights. Got to give a couple of shout outs to a few people. Trap House Boxing says it's a pleasure to be able to talk to the legend James Ali Bashir. So, Uncle, that's a message from Trap House Boxing. Do you have a message to Trap House Boxing?
I'm grateful. I'm humble. Thank you for your acknowledgement. It's in a world of boxing where people don't acknowledge people who don't know. They don't know. So when somebody knows me and know my efforts and know my legacy in this sport, it's a real honor and a pleasure. And I'm respectful of that. I'm humble about it. I'll put everything on the line for the CFA, for boxing. I put everything on the line. And sometimes we have good days, and sometimes we have bad days. But I still go out there and give my best.
Uncle, take this new saying.
Yeah.
I learned this the other day from the bishop. There are good days and not so good days, but they're always good days.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
Let's see here. Denise Wards is in the house.
Yes, Denise. Hi.
Denise says, excellent when the both of you are together, and she's put a love heart. Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yes. Thank you. I try to do my best for the sport of boxing. I want the sport of boxing to live on long after I'm gone. 100 years after I'm gone, I want the sport to live on.
Lakvinder Singh says, always a pleasure to have Uncle in the house.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to have you guys in the listening audience, because you guys are the one that keep me and people like me. People are interested on my toes, you know, because you guys know as much about boxing as I do.
Great stuff. Great to hear. Uncle, are you thinking of taking Vlad Tsarenka down the European route?
I want to make some moves with Vlad Tsarenka. You know, he's still in the baby stage of his career, but like I said, next year, after June of next year, he should be let out in the pasture where he can mingle with all the other dinosaurs. You know.
Okay.
All the other dinosaurs. You can't keep a secret like Vlad Tsarenka. You can't keep a secret like that. At some point, he's going to have to fight.
You guys are fighting in Germany soon, aren't you?
Yes, we're going to fight in Germany on October the 11th. So as soon as Ivana handles her business here, I'm going to hop on a plane and I'm going to go to Germany.
Okay.
Right after the fight, the very next day, I'm going to be on a plane headed to Germany.
I like to be able to go over this time and support you once again.
You know, I just got an urge, man. Yeah, I got an urge. Ivana won't let me really get it, but I want this. I want these oatmeal cookies with raisins in them. Oh my God!
But is she stopping? She's stopping you?
Yes. I can taste it with this ice cold milk.
Tell her.
Oatmeal raisin.
Tell her that when Ivana sees Tyrone, then if she sees Tyrone, then she continue not to have the cookies.
Ivana, Angel told me to stand up to you. Stand up and be a man.
Yeah.
I want some oatmeal cookies with raisins and milk. She turned her head. She turned her head and told me to get lost.
Ask her. Tell her I just want to talk to her for 2 minutes on how she's feeling.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, go.
Hello, stranger.
Listen, I am now in my peace. So how you can disrupt me?
Very simple, because I am your peace.
Oh, God knows.
Exactly, God knows. Exactly. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Not long to go now. How are you feeling in terms of training and your body and everything and your mind?
Okay, nothing special.
Just ready?
We're gonna see.
I'm looking forward to it. We're all looking forward to it.
That's good. That's good. Don't fall asleep.
Who really don't fall asleep?
I mean on the fight, you know.
Hey, you think I'm gonna fall asleep? They call me Mr. Stamina, you know. We'll
That's
talk.
very good to know.
It's very good to know too. But we'll talk. We'll catch up. All the best for the fight.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Good to hear from you.
Okay, listen, I will give you back the most annoying coach ever.
Hey, Ivana.
Yeah.
Let him get his cookies.
No.
Why?
He got in 5 days 10 pounds, man. Disaster.
Well, yeah. Well, he's working. You put him through hell, so you need to reward him.
No, I did. I went back up. I was down to 203. I'm back up to 211 now.
Tell her that's because you're lacking love.
You heard that right?
That's abuse. That's what it is.
She just ignored me. Sorry. Man, I want the cookies, man. I just got a taste for some oatmeal cookies.
Okay, fair enough.
Dang. You know, it's like an addiction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Man, Sugar's a serious addiction.
Trap House Boxing asked the question. Bro Ingram, ask Uncle Ali, does he think that Herkovic's team is moving him along too slow, or they move him at the right pace?
I think they're moving him at the right pace. I don't think they're moving him too slow. I think he's trying to get on the card down there on the Ruiz and Joshua's card.
Okay.
That's his next fight.
They said he did.
They got him.
He didn't look good in his last fight, so I understand people were saying.
Did I see it? I'm watching so many fights. I don't know whether I saw it or not. Oh yeah, he fought the Mexican guy.
How'd he do?
He fought the Mexican. Yeah, but you know, with people, everybody can't train heavyweights. You can train every other weight class, but everybody can't train heavyweights. And you know, that sometimes it affects the heavyweights. You know, they just take trainers and they put them with heavyweights, but everybody is not capable of training heavyweights. So that could be a reason. Yeah, I saw the fight with the Mexican kid. You really couldn't gauge. Me myself, I couldn't gauge that. I couldn't gauge it because the guy was just a body. You know, he's not really competitive.
Okay.
Herkovic is. We have yet to see what he has.
Exactly.
But he did say made a statement, said that he was trying to get a fight on the Ruiz Joshua card, and that it would be a serious step up. So time will tell.
Okay. Any news on Ruhan Vissa? What he's doing in Las Vegas still, apart from taking pictures of Tyson Fury and.
No. I spoke with his father briefly, you know, and he said that he had sparred with Kubrat Pulev, and that's all that I know.
Okay. Ask Uncle if Ivana always mean, or is she just mean only in camp?
Good question. I try to stay in my room. Try to stay in my room, but stay in my lane. When we leave the gym, she be in her world, I'll be in mine. Unless we watch Mind Hunters, we watch Mind Hunter together.
What is that?
It's about, you know, a story about serial killers.
Oh wow!
You know, the people, you know, Son of Sam, the BTK killer, you know, the Atlanta, Georgia killers, you know. So we just sit down and watch Mind Hunters.
Right.
Basically, it's about FBI profilers, you know. So we sit down and watch that together. Outside of that, I hit my room here and there.
Well, your mate, Ruben or Ruslan Shagayev says that it's a great show. So that's something you both can agree on.
Yeah, Mind Hunters. And everybody they got on the show, the actors that they get to play these people look just like the people. They look like the real people.
Wow.
And the guy that they arrested for the Atlanta child murders, that guy's still in jail. The guy been in jail 40 years.
Wow.
You know, so.
We've got a question. What are your thoughts on Alexander Teslenko?
Who was that? Teslenko. Who was that?
I don't know. He's a heavyweight. He had a shock loss last night. Well, obviously, yeah.
Alexander Teslenko. I don't know.
Well, he got beat last night, so that's all you need to know. It was a shock loss.
Where is he from? Russia?
He's a Canadian, now originally from Ukraine.
I don't know him. He got beat last night.
Yep, heavyweight.
Again, everybody can't train heavyweight. You can train other weight classes. But when you're dealing with the dinosaurs, it's a different dynamic, different application, different information to go forward.
Have you been catching up and watching Andy Ruiz training? And Joshua's gone quite quiet when it comes to all the training videos.
He's probably got his nose to the grindstone because this is it, man. This is it. He's got to win this fight. There's a lot of pressure on Anthony Joshua to win this fight. And there's a lot of pressure on Ruiz to show that it wasn't a fluke. So you can expect fireworks in this fight. But I don't think it's going to be a long fight.
Nor do I.
I see you at the most.
5
I
rounds?
see 7 rounds. I see maybe 7. You can stretch it out to 7. But somebody's going to go. Somebody's going to go in that fight. It won't go the distance. I think that's going to be a brutal heavyweight fight.
His manager or his promoter says that there's a possibility that he will retire after. If he wins, he'll retire. Joshua.
Oh.
If Joshua wins, his promoter says he might retire if he wins.
And if he loses, he might retire too.
Yeah, well, there are 3 options. There are 3 options. Just remember, there's 3 options, Uncle.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, I mean, he's made a lot of money. So he's probably saying, what do I need boxing for? I made the money, I'm out, But it's different from the fighters of yesteryear, because the fighters of yesteryear, they made money for their time, but they wanted to compete. They were doing it for legacy. It doesn't mean that much anymore, because I think that this fight is going to be a fight that end. This fight is going to be a good heavyweight fight. This is going to be a really, really good fight, and somebody is going to go in that fight. I don't see that fight going the distance.
Check this out. I spoke with somebody. Obviously, I can't tell you that. I'll tell you their name off camera. But I spoke to somebody who has known Joshua since he was 15 years old, and he says he watched Joshua obviously grow and go on to become world heavyweight champion. He said Joshua's always had things his way. He's always had things his way, and he's always been like a golden child. So he's always had things his way, and he's always had like a bully boy type mentality, and he's always like crowds. So he says even now that he's in the profession he's in and the height that he's in, he still likes to hang around with the wrong crowds because he wants to prove that he's some sort of bad man. He's not that type of guy, but he wants to be in that type of crowd. And he said to me something very interesting. He said, Joshua's the type of guy that would look at Ruiz and say, on camera, he would say, lucky punch from the gods and all this stuff. But he says off camera,
Wait, say it again. You got cut off for a minute. Say it again.
What part did I get cut off?
You said that. You said that. He said, and then it got cut off. Go.
Yeah, he said that Joshua's the type of guy that on camera, Joshua would say it was a lucky punch, it was a punch from the gods, and 9 times out of 10, I beat Ruiz. But in his mindset, the mindset of Joshua is this. He said that Joshua would be looking at Ruiz and saying, that fat boy should not be beating me. How did I let that fat boy beat me? And he says his ego is such that he will look at that Ruiz thing and just think it's a fat boy that beat me, so I just need to get in shape more, then I'll beat Ruiz. He won't actually give Ruiz the credit. He might give him credit on camera, but off camera, he wants to do things his own way. He's his own man. He don't listen to no one. He said that's why he's got the sort of people he's got around him.
Well, he's going to see a different Ruiz in this next fight. He's going to see a Ruiz that he didn't see before. The Ruiz that he's going to see in this next fight is going to be 85% better than the first Ruiz he saw. All right? The 85 to 90% better than the first one that he saw. And 100% hungrier. Because Ruiz knows that if I can knock him out again, I can write my own ticket. You know, you won't hear Ruiz saying that I'm going to retire or something like that. Yeah, Ruiz would fight on. You know, but I can understand Joshua got his money and say, hey, man, I'm out. Nobody can knock nobody for getting out at a certain time, especially in the sport of boxing. It's a tough sport. But there are those who live for legacy. I got money, now I'm doing it for legacy.
I believe that Usyk will fight the winner, who will fight the winner of Joshua and Ruiz next year.
Yeah, I'm certain. I'm sure he will.
Who would you rather him fight, Ruiz or Joshua?
It doesn't make a difference because Usyk is going to be Usyk, irregardless. Usyk is going to be Usyk when that bell rings. They're going to have to prepare for Usyk. Usyk is not going to prepare for them. Usyk is going to be Usyk inside that ring. And nobody's going to make Usyk change their style. So they're going to have to change their style to get with Usyk.
Okay.
Usyk is not an easy guy to fight. He's not an easy guy to fight. It's a very difficult style to fight. I learned that in the 3 years that I worked with him, the 3 years that I worked in the camp, training Usyk, you know, tooth and nail. He's a very complicated boxer. And he's strong. He's got a strong mind. He's got a strong body. He's awkward. And he can punch. He can punch. People said that he can't punch. He can punch. And anybody go in the ring thinking that he's too small or he's too light or this or that he can't punch, they got another thing coming.
I know there are experts that know more than you do, and you've held the pads to Usyk. They know more than you do, so.
Man, I didn't just hold the pads. I was there with him tooth and nail.
But what I mean I taught
this man up close and personal.
I know.
I know what it takes to beat him. I know how to beat him. And even with me knowing how to beat him, it still would be complicated for me to beat him with another fighter. Because he's just that kind of guy. He's got all the heart in the world. He's got a good chin. He's motivated. He's in great condition. He can punch with both hands. Hey, you know, fighting Alexander Usyk is an uphill battle. I'm telling anybody who's going in that ring, you go in there and sleep if you want to, and you'll be asleep.
Let me ask you a question about Eastern European fighters and the style of Eastern European fighters. Now, I have a theory. Now, I don't know if this theory is correct or it's flawed, but because of the lack of great trainers or great philosophies, fighters lack the ability to fight on the inside. And those rugged, good fighters who can fight on the inside, exit on the inside, and know how to close the range down and to get mid to close range to land punches and be effective. There's not a lot of those fighters around today. Hence why the Eastern bloc of European fighters have got this ability to be able to box at distance and be very effective. But yesteryear, you had fighters that could fight on the inside, had dog about them, and would cut them down, close the range down, and get to them. Like James Toney, for example, and Bernard Hopkins, two guys who could get on the inside and do a lot of damage. What are your thoughts on this?
There's not much to add to what you just said.
Really?
No, not much to add to that, you know. Bernard Hopkins and James Toney were unique fighters in the history of boxing. You know, They were old school boxers, very old school, both guys. And again, they weren't easy guys to box. They were not easy guys to box. You know, they were not easy guys to box. They always presented a different picture for each opponent they faced. And they knew how to adapt. You know, the two of them knew how to adapt to whoever they was fighting, and they made the fight very complicated for those people who were opposing them. Yeah. Not much to add to that.
See, I don't see people rate Lomachenko very highly, right? But he's good. But then when I've had the opportunity to see people like Pernell Whitaker, right? And we go guys like Henry Armstrong and Willie Pep, and look at them type of guys, Archie Moore, the Mongoose, and look at those type of guys, James Toney, Floyd Mayweather. Go ahead.
A guy like Lomachenko, you got to give it. This kid Campbell hurt him bad with a body punch.
That's what I'm saying.
He hurt him bad. But Lomachenko is such a cool, smooth operator, and I appreciate him because he never showed any sign that I'm hurt, even though the trained eye can see he was hurt. But he kept right on chugging along, kept on doing his business. He didn't speed up, he didn't slow down, he just kept with the same rhythm, kept till he got himself together and he came back. You know, this guy, you know, he gets credit because he's in there. He's in the fire.
Listen, I would put Gervonta Davis within him tomorrow. I'd stick Gervonta Davis with him now. I think.
Could be.
Well, look.
I'd like to see that fight.
I mean, I think the time's right.
Yeah, I'd like to see that fight. I don't think that Lomachenko is trying to avoid them.
I think it's a great fight.
I don't think Lomachenko is trying to avoid any one of those guys.
You see,
you hear what I said?
Yeah.
I don't think that Lomachenko is trying to avoid any one of those guys. He's got stars in his eyes, and the way to do it is to do it. Get in there with him. So as soon as they sign their name on the dotted line, I think Lomachenko will sign. I told you, I've been around these guys. You know, when I was training or during the time I trained Usyk, I trained around Lomachenko and those guys, and I see how they train. I see the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You're fighting a mentality. When you fight the Ukrainian fighter, and when you fight the Russian fighter, you're fighting a mentality. A mentality. They got that mentality that says, I am not going to be beat. And a lot of fighters don't have that. And they will lay that on the line. When they're in that ring, they will lay it on the line. They got that mentality that I'm better than you. You're not going to beat me. I don't care what you do. You're not going to beat me. And Lomachenko, Vlad Tsarenko, Usyk, all of those Ukrainian fighters got that mentality. The Klitschko's, they all got the same mentality. And they work hard in the gym. A lot of fighters don't want to work that hard in the gym. You push them, next thing you know, you're gone. You know? But these guys work hard in the gym, and they got that mentality that I don't care what you do, you're not going to beat me. And you can see it in their work ethic. You know, they come in the gym.
That's true. Uncle, you there? Uh-oh. We'll bring Uncle back in a second. Give me a second. We'll have him back in a moment. Go ahead, Uncle.
You there?
Yes, I heard that.
these guys got a work ethic, and that's the thing. That's one of the things that people's overlooking. They just think you're in a boxing match. No, you're not just in a boxing. You're in there for your life when you fight those guys.
Yeah, that's true, and they've got some good They've got some good training to go with that mentality. What I feel is sadly lacking is because they haven't got the antidote to that style. For me, is that inside, rugged, tough, close the range down, close them down, and take it to them attitude. The dog, that sort of make them miss, make them pay, get in close, and do your work. Being great inside fighters.
But everybody in today's boxing want to be a prima donna. Everybody wants to be a Floyd Mayweather.
That's what I'm saying.
Do it.
That's why these guys.
Let me tell you something. Floyd Mayweather is a special fighter because he has that mentality that I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do or how you bring it. I'm going to take whatever you got and then I'm going to give it back. You being able to take it is one of the big important things in the sport of boxing. And Mayweather proved it. Say what you want to say about him, criticize him for that. But when he's in that ring, he is the master because he got his mind made up. I don't care how hard you hit me. I don't care how hard you bring it. I'm in shape and I'm here to fight. All right?
Yes.
Vasily Lomachenko is there to fight. Alexander Usyk is there to fight. And Vlad Tsarenko, I never got that impression. I never got the impression that Vlad Tsarenko was going to fold on me. Never. Not once. And he's been in there. He's been in there with Joe Joyce, Dubois, Usyk, Stavern. He's been in there with whoever I put in front of him. Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days. I mean, Povetkin, and he comes back. I've had a lot of fighters that I put them in sparring sessions, and then the next day their elbow hurt, or their finger hurt, or their toe hurt, or my balls hurt. This, that, something's always wrong that next day, and the next day, and the next day till they get out of that camp. But Vlad Tsarenko shows up. He has shown up for every single scheduled sparring appointment. And that tells me something about the nature. Emmanuel used to say to me, he said, if a guy can't stand the rigors of that gym, that's sparring, then he won't make it in the sport. He said, pay particular attention to the guy that comes back and spars every single day that he's supposed to. Pay particular attention to him. He said, because that's a rare treasure in the sport of boxing. Vlad Tsarenko has showed up for every single sparring session I ever scheduled for him without fail. Without fail. He's never missed one. And that's rare. But the Ukrainian fighter, I have a special fondness for the Ukrainian fighter. I have a special place in my heart for them because those guys work. They work. Is it
because the lack of application coming from a lot of fighters from stateside and the unreliability of fighters stateside that you've had to experience?
You know what? I don't even think it matters with the Ukrainian fighter. I don't even think it matters. I don't care what you got from America. You know what I'm saying? To Jamaica, to Germany, to France. I don't care what you got. When you face the fighters from the Ukraine, you better bring a lunchbox because they're there to fight. You're going to have to knock them out. You're going to have to find something to put them out there, something to discourage them. Yep,
that's it. That's it. But you see, but the two.
You see what happened. Campbell was hitting Lomachenko hard. But Lomachenko just wouldn't yield. He wouldn't yield.
Yeah, but you see, that was Campbell. Now imagine if that was Gervonta Davis hitting with that same sort of power.
Well, yeah, but Lomachenko, what I'm saying is, they're saying that, come on, hit me with what you got, but make sure you prepared to take something because I'm going to give something back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it back. So yeah, I'm long for it. I want to see the fight. I want to see the fight. Davis and Lomachenko right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell a female Lopez or whoever it is, put them in there with Lomachenko because it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me. These guys they're dedicated, man. They're dedicated guys.
Mr. Shagayev wants to give us Shagayev or Ruslan or Eddie or Mr. Guerrero wants to give us wants to give you a history lesson, Uncle. So here's what he got to say. He says Eastern European style is adjusting styles like GGG, Povetkin, Beterbiev have more aggressive boxer styles. Eastern European fighters are usually best suited to the pros now. He told me that I'm gassed. And then he goes on to say, if I die attitude. Their style is adapting now. Their amateur styles is more suited to the pros. They have the mentality for pros already, and they have the ring cutting ability too. He says the British style is more upright and predictable, and it's about the Soviet mentality.
Well, I said originally, it is a mentality. But they have more respect for the game. They have more respect for what they're doing than the average boxer.
Of course.
The average boxer tries to mix this, that, and the other with boxing.
But that's a culture, though, isn't it? But that's a cultural thing, isn't it? That's a boxing cultural thing in the Ukraine.
Listen, what I'm saying is that these guys, it can be cultural too.
But look at Cuba. The Cubans, until they turn pro.
But when they leave Cuba, when they come to America, when they go to Britain and places like that, it's like letting a wild cat out of a cage.
Yep.
They're distracted by the things they weren't used to having in Cuba. Whereas the Ukrainians, they keep their nose to the grindstone. All right? The Klitschko brothers, Lomachenko, and Usyk, and even Blazarenko, these guys keep their nose to the grindstone. When they go into a training camp, they say, okay, that's it. Everything else is cut off. And they're focused on that fight. If it's 6 months, if it's 3 months, if it's 2 months, they're focused on that fight. And when you ask them in the locker room, are we ready? When they look at you and say, yep, it's a go. They mean that. Vladimir Klitschko is the same way. Dedication, man. These are dedicated people. I want Gervonta Davis to sign the contract. I want to see the fight. I want to see the fight. I want to see the results. What's going to happen? I'm longing for this fight.
How do you think the fight goes, in your opinion?
I think Lomachenko wins a decision. If not, a late stoppage.
Okay. Why?
Discipline.
That's true.
Discipline. You can bang them and bop them, but they're not going to get out of it. They're not going to get out of it. It's going to take something. He's going to have to knock Lomachenko out to win that fight.
That's the only way I see him winning the fight. I wasn't looking for him to go in there and box him.
Yeah,
Take it to him.
Have to. And look, in the old neighborhood where I grew up, there was a saying: you got to bring some ass to get some ass.
I get that.
All right. So when Gervonta comes in there to lay Lomachenko out, he's got to put his ass on the line so he can be laid out too, because Lomachenko can punch. And Luke was smart. Luke said, I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to do something to get to this belt so I don't get a knockout on the record. He was knocked out. He was knocked out. And he did what he had to do to stay in there to the last bell, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm just giving credit where credit is due. I like the
I like him.
Fighters.
I like him. It's just
I'm saying I like them from a professional standpoint.
Yeah.
Those guys from Ukraine are not about no BS.
No, they're not. They are.
They ain't about no. They own business.
If I was investing in boxers, I would invest in Ukrainian fighters for the most part.
I'm telling you, I really am impressed with it.
Yeah.
I've been around a lot of fighters, a lot of fighters from different parts of the world throughout my travels, especially when I was with Emmanuel Stewart. And throughout my travels, I've been everywhere: Switzerland, Sweden, South Africa, West Africa, Russia, Poland. I've been there. I've seen it, and I've seen those mentalities, and I have yet to see somebody more focused than the Ukrainian fighter.
Okay.
I met Blasarenko in Usyk's camp, and I worked with him 5 or 6 days. But when I left that camp, I got the impression that Usyk and I were done. I got the impression throughout the camp. I just felt that vibes that told me that we've done. But from that, it gave birth to the relationship between Blasarenko
and yourself.
So
of course.
I just took my emotion, I took my efforts and invested it into Blasarenko. So I didn't feel like I lost nothing. I lost the deal with Usyk, but I gained the deal with Blasarenko. So I feel like I came out on top because Blasarenko is 20. When I got Blasarenko is 20 years old. And I'm happy to be with him. I'm just happy to believe. I'm glad that he asked me to train him. He said, in fact, I went back to Ukraine and Blasarenko went somewhere. Blasarenko stayed in America, and he sent his father. His father contacted me on the internet, and set up a meeting for us to meet in a restaurant in Ukraine. And we met, and it was a match made in heaven. We've been together ever since. I'm very happy about that.
Wow.
Yes.
Lakvinder Singh asked the question. Let me go back. He says, it's going back to Joshua and Usyk. He says, if AJ comes through, then all that weight loss will play to Usyk's advantage coming up from cruiserweight. AJ's size advantage would really make the difference. Your thoughts?
Nobody's size advantage makes a difference with Usyk. Usyk came to the amateur ranks, the World Series of Boxing, and so on. And those were big guys that Usyk was in. So fighting big men is nothing new for him.
I try and tell some of these people here, but they don't listen. There's
nothing new for him. He knows how to deal
with big guys.
Said it. He knows how to box. And I don't see nothing in the heavyweight division stopping him. Deontay Wilder is a great, big, powerful puncher. Maybe one of the most powerful punchers ever in the heavyweight division. That's Usyk's nemesis. He has to stay clear and navigate through rough waters with Deontay. But I don't see him really having a problem at heavyweight. I don't see it. People who don't know boxing underestimate guys like Alexander Usyk and Michael. They underestimate them.
They don't listen. They don't listen.
But they can box. They can box. When you can box, it's the same thing with Maurice Harris. Maurice Harris was in there with some big, strong guys. But he was allowed to live in the land of the dinosaur because he was a great, great boxer.
Chris Bird.
Maurice Harris.
Chris Bird,
same thing.
Vitaly Klitschko.
Maurice Harris and Chris Bird was living in the land of the giants. They both had great boxing skills. They both had good eyes. They both had good reflex. When you have those attributes, it allows you to live in the land of the giants.
I always tell people when they bring up this thing about height and weight in the heavyweight division, I say, go back and watch Michael Moorer versus Mike the Giant White. Do you remember that fight, Uncle Bashir?
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Mike the Giant White was 7 foot tall. Michael Moore is just 6 foot. Come from the light heavyweight division, moving up to heavyweight, and he fought Mike the Giant White. I've never seen a big man fall so hard. 7 foot tall. I don't know how much he must have outweighed. He must be 30, 40 pounds more. He outweighed Mora. And when Mora hit him with that power, why, Lord? And the way Mike the Giant White fell, I thought, see, it's not about size and weight. It's about boxing ability.
I'd like to see Michael Hunt and Usyk fight again.
I would as well. How do you think Michael Moore would do in this era?
I think he'd have a place in this era because he was a southpaw that can punch.
Yep.
Michael Moore could punch, man. He could punch.
Boy, he could punch.
Even here in Detroit, people knew he could punch. He could tell you. I mean, Michael Moore would have a place.
He just had some head issues.
Yeah. A lot of fighters have that.
Yeah, well, let's see what here. Trap house boxers, but if you invest, bro, Ingram, make sure you teach them an inside game. Oh, of course, man. If it were to ever happen and life were to spin for me in a certain way, I would ensure a fighter could fight on the outside and the inside. Absolutely. They have to be able to fight on the inside and the outside.
See,
they have to adapt.
Today's fighters spend their time on the inside tying people up.
Exactly.
They don't look to put the left shoulder in the chest or whatever perspective you're boxing from, the right shoulder in the chest. They don't look around inside. They just look to tie up till the referee comes and break them up.
Tie a man up with one hand and whack him with the other hand while the referee ain't watching. And as the referee got to walk behind the referee.
Well, a lot of people don't do that. They tie up and they wait for the referee to come and do the job.
Get inside, you know? and when you're inside, bring the shoulder up.
On the inside, and I tell Ivana all the time, you know, when you get there, once you're there, you gotta let your hands go. Yeah. You can't hold back. You know, sometimes she holds her hands too long. You're right there. There's all that body there in front of you. You gotta go. You gotta punch. You gotta punch. You gotta punch. You gotta punch. Mm-hmm. You can't be so patient and wait around like that.
But they're patient. Half of that patience comes from them pads, you know. Half of that patience comes. We know where they stand there and then with all them pads doing that stuff. I've noticed a lot of fighters today. You will see at least 30 seconds of a fighter just standing there looking at another fighter. That pause is where they're doing a lot of that pad work.
I try to implore to Ivana when nothing else is not working. That
back on the jab. Back on the jab.
It should be working.
Pumping it out.
Working down to the navel button. It should be working to the chest. It should be working to the shoulders, the biceps, the tricep. That jab is supposed to be working. But today's fighter want to jab once, twice,
and look.
For right hand.
Yeah, double a jab, look, throw a right hand. Look at their work.
I like to see a boxer working a good jab. Jab, 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 hook, jab, hook, jab the body, jab upstairs, hook, jab. I like to see a boxer with an educated jab. You know, I'd love to see that.
Every time the jabs in their face, they're having to reset all the time. You know, plant his feet to throw a punch, jabs him in his face, bam, hit him with that jab. And he tries to move forward again, bam, hit with a jab. And next thing, he's from one space to another space. He's like a magician. Now you see him, now you don't. Just with a jab.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see his jab working constantly, you know? Instead of standing around looking, you know?
Let's see what's going here. Yeah, Latfinger says, what I meant was a good big guy will beat a good small one. Yes, definitely Usyk will convincingly beat most of the bigger heavyweights, but Tyson Fury would give him questions to answer. I'm not sure, because Tyson doesn't punch that hard.
And let me tell you something. Based on what I'm throwing there with that last fight, Usyk would give Tyson Fury something.
A lot of problems. Absolutely. You got to think that if Walling could do that, imagine what Usyk could do.
I've been telling.
I don't even imagine it.
I've been telling people for the longest. They keep coming up now. Tyson. Usyk is 6 feet. They're just tall, but they talking.
I know. You still there, Uncle? Okay. WhatsApp don't like me and Uncle talking, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, they keep talking about Tyson is too big. He's too big for Usyk.
Rubbish.
This is not bodybuilding. This is boxing.
People still get over and over and over again. What about the era Mike Tyson was 5'11"? He was knocking out guys 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". Nobody mentioned nothing about that. I don't know how.
They're not educated. The average fan is not educated. They see muscle, they see a big guy, they see a little guy right away. There's one of the big guys on the left. I've seen a lot of cases where that's not the case.
Look at Shagayev, not Shagayev, Valuev. Look at Valuev. Valuev and David Hay. Valuev and Evander Holyfield.
And he lost the Holyfield fight. They jobbed Holyfield.
Of course he lost the Holyfield.
Holyfield was a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. They took that fight from him. They robbed.
He would have been he would have been a 5-time heavyweight champion of the world had he won that fight.
Five times. Okay.
And do you know something else? Anybody who turns and says to me, starts talking about size, cut it again. WhatsApp doesn't want me talking to Uncle Bashir. It really doesn't. Yeah, I don't think WhatsApp likes our conversation.
They when people see that they're right away, they assume, oh, this guy's too little, this guy's too big, and this is what's going to happen. But that's not the case. That's the uneducated fan. You know?
I mean, there's so many situations of repeated situations of the bigger guy getting his ass whooped by the smaller guy. Which brings me on to the next topic, by the way. Kovalev and Canelo. Your thoughts?
I think that Canelo's going to beat him. I think that he's going to beat Kovalev. Kovalev is on his last leg. You know, he's on his last leg, and Canelo's the one that's going to push him over the left edge. It's going to be a good fight, but believe me, Canelo's going to come in there probably 168.
Yeah,
169.
Come light.
You know, and he's gonna hustle. He's gonna hustle. When is that fight supposed to take place?
November 2nd.
Yeah, well, Buddy McGirt is preparing Kovalev right now. November 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're working right now to prepare. You know, but I think that Kovalev is gonna edge him.
Do you know?
I mean, Canelo.
You know, do you know what I find fascinating and almost amazing? When Floyd Mayweather was around and he was doing what he was doing, you couldn't get enough praise for Floyd Mayweather. He beats Canelo. Canelo now does what he does, and he's the greatest fighter of this generation. How does that work out? Can you explain that to me, please?
Ask the question again.
I said, when Floyd was around, he wasn't appreciated for what he did. He was a ducker. He was this. He was that. Canelo, should he beat this guy? What's his name? Kovalev. He's a special fighter, and he's special for this generation. It don't make no sense to me.
Well, I think that because he's taking chances. He's taking big chances. You know, he's jumping 2 divisions, and he's taking on the light heavyweight champ of the world. You know, and that's going to make him special. I think that's pretty special what he's doing. He's taking a risk. That most fighters wouldn't even consider.
Wait. So when Floyd fought Canelo, he wasn't taking a risk.
Yeah, of course he was. They fought at 154. But that's something that, like welterweights is expected to do. Floyd started his career at junior lightweight. Then he went to lightweight. Then he went to did he fight at 140?
Yeah.
I don't know if Floyd
did.
Yeah,
I think he did. 140.
Did Floyd fight at 140 or did he skip over 140? Did Shane fight at 140? Did Shane skip over 140?
No, Shane jumped 2 weight divisions. Jumped from lightweight up to welterweight and beat Oscar De La Hoya.
Right. Then he went up to 154. You know?
The other argument is Canelo's improved so much since the Floyd fight. How can you tell if a man's improved since the Floyd fight if he hasn't fought Floyd? That don't make. I don't understand that. You don't fight anybody who.
You know what? I don't think that Floyd was ever interested in fighting Canelo again. I don't think so. I think that Canelo got better since he fought Floyd. I just think that Floyd caught him at the right. Floyd was smart. But let me fight this young man. Let me fight this young man before he learns what he's doing. And he got him when he still had milk around his mouth.
He fought Lara as well. I mean, how many guys has Canelo fought that are actual movers that can box or good movers? Because that's his kryptonite.
Questionable. That was a close fight.
The Lara fight. There's the Lara fight right there. Now they say nobody says anything about the Lara fight. Just brush past the Lara fight.
That was a questionable win for Canelo. That was a very close fight, questionable win. They don't want to see Lara again.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't want to see him again. The Lord is saying that we don't need Lara. Lara, hey man, you gotta wait that time, but guess what? Yeah. It will not happen again. So, I mean, Canelo is just what I'm saying is this is like, you gotta say this guy's special because he's gone from 54 to 75. 60 to 75 years, giving 2 weight divisions just to get there.
I guess he's the closest thing to today's Roy Jones when Roy Jones moved up to heavyweight. But hold on,
that was something special.
Roy went up to heavyweight. James Toney moved up to heavyweight. Chris Bird moved up to heavyweight. Michael Moore moved up to heavyweight. Evander Holyfield moved up to heavyweight. Aaron Barkley, I thought, fought a cruiserweight. Did he move heavyweight? Did Barkley fight a heavyweight?
Yeah, he did.
He did move to.
Barkley had some heavyweight fights.
Yeah, had some heavyweight fights. Aaron Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley had some heavyweight fights. Aaron Barkley was a beast. He had some heavyweight fights. That's definitely went up bad heavyweight fights. For the cruiserweight too. Barkley was a tough guy.
Yeah,
tough guy.
And then James Toney went in. James Toney went in there twice against Samuel Peter for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Tony is a special kind of old school boxer. Smart, clever, slick. I mean, Tony was something. James Tony was a special boxer, man. He could do it. He could do it all. He could punch, he can box, he can slip, slide, knew how to fight inside, outside. He was just really, 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 really a good fighter.
Who is more accomplished, Canelo or Manny Pacquiao?
I'd say Pacquiao.
That's what I'm saying.
Pacquiao's very, very
accomplished.
Pacquiao is special. He stands out. He stands out in the angles of boxing. He's a special dude. I really, really like him. He's a special guy.
Pacquiao for me stand out as well. He stand out. He stands out more for me than Canelo because of longevity, where he started his career.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm talking. You want to talk about special in this era? Pacquiao special in this era. You talk about Lomachenko. You can talk about Canelo. You can talk about Lomachenko till the cows come home. Pacquiao's the man.
A long way to go. To top what Pacquiao has done. I mean, come on. This guy, you can't even get in his house. He got so many belts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Manny Pacquiao is just a special guy. You know, very, very special guy. One of my all-time favorites, Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah. I didn't think he had any fights left in him. I really didn't. But I knew he'd beat Keith. But I just
no, how's he gonna beat these little T-Rex? Then he's looking at him on the floor. He said, "That's how I'm gonna beat you." Get off the floor and try to finish. Now get off the floor and try to finish the fight.
I think that's probably the quote of the last 10 years. That quote. Oh, dear me. I'm never able to keep a straight face now. If I see Keith, I can't keep a straight face.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So, Uncle, just to close now, your thoughts tonight. Final thoughts with Spence and Porter tonight.
I gotta go with Earl Spence by decision.
Okay.
If there are no cuts, I don't know if Sean is going to be able to close the distance. He's got to close the distance and make it a close fight on the inside.
Absolutely.
And he's got to out muscle Earl. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. You know, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. So I got to go with Spence by decision. Unanimous decision, Earl Spence. Benavidez and
Durrell.
You know, that I don't know. That's a pick 'em.
That's a good fight.
It's a good fight. Benavidez and Durrell. I don't know what to do, but I got Spence by decision. If there are no cuts, if there are no headbutts, no cuts, no.
If Spence,
go with Earl Spence
I think Spence's physical strength is going to be key in this fight as well, because if he can push Porter back, Porter's done. He will get stopped. If Spence can push Porter back in this fight, he gets stopped.
I don't think it's going to be a stoppage.
You don't think so?
No. I think Spence going to go with them big body punches, but I think Sean give it back to him downstairs. So I think they washed up to go back to the body. I think that this fight goes the distance. If there are no cuts, if there's cuts, then it's a stoppage. If there are no cuts, this fight goes to distance.
Uncle, as you know, my theory is pressure bursts pipes. And I say, listen, I'm not looking for you to win this fight on points. I'm looking for you to keep pressure on this man, keep pressure and keep pressure and keep pressure. And around round 6, turn it up even more so and look to go to stop in late rounds, 10, 11, 12, down the stretch in the championship rounds. Stop Spence then. Where you put the work in early in the tank. And I'm sure he's struggling to make the weight. So that them body punches late on the fight, 10, 11, 12, Porter working Spence's body. That's the strategy I would be putting in place. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Gotta take this. Gotta sap the body, the strength out of them legs of Spence. And if he's struggling at the weight, that body, and he's got the way his frame is, that's nice for body shots. Lovely for body shots. To me, he's tailor-made for body shots.
Who?
Spence.
Yeah.
Chop that body, chop that body, chop that body. So he ain't got no juice in his punches late in the fight, so he can't be going and trying to stop you to the body.
I think Spence knows that, though. I think he knows that. I really think he knows that.
Yeah, I think Spence. I'll say to you now, Uncle. I think Spence is a good fighter. I think he's a talented fighter. I love my brother Derek James, but I think there isn't enough to warrant. My personal opinion, there isn't enough to warrant, based on his resume and his work so far, to suggest what people are suggesting of Spence just yet.
So you got Porter.
I'm not saying I ain't got. I would not be surprised if Porter beats Spence. I would not be surprised. It wouldn't be a shock to me. In this era, it would not be a shock to me, because a good fighter today becomes a great fighter, not because of the fighter's ability, but because of the broadcasting networks. PBC has got to say they've got the best fighter in the world. Top Rank got to say they've got the best fighter in the world. Matchroom's got to say they've got the best fighter in the world. DAZN's got to say they've got the best fighter in the world. And so everything, even if you've got a good fighter, you've got to oversell the fighter. So the fighter is not as good as advertised. You see, and this is what happened with Joshua, a good fighter that was flawed, but was overhyped, and because of that, unable to deliver when it really mattered against Ruiz, against the guy who was a better fighter and a better boxer than Joshua. So I just think this fight with Spence, I will learn more about the truth of Errol Spence in this fight, in how he goes about, because I see this fight as Spence's barometer test. I don't see this as Porter's barometer test. I see this as Spence's barometer test, because we can say Porter's fought him, Garcia, he's fought Brooke.
They're fighting in Las Vegas.
Texas, I think.
Texas, okay.
Yeah, barometer test for Spence. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the most serious fight yet for him.
That's what I'm saying. Still doesn't move his head. Still moves back in straight lines. So
we'll see what happens.
We'll see tonight. If his head is still staying in the same place, then it'll be there for Porter to hit.
We're gonna see in a few minutes, though. We're gonna see in a few minutes.
Yeah, it will be. We will see. Uncle, as always, do you have anything final to say?
No, quiet until the fight's over. I'll talk to you tomorrow, God willing.
God willing, you too. All the best, Uncle.
Yes.
Good night.
All.
Good night, Uncle. Thank you all so much. It's a Staples Center, Uncle. Never mind. I thought it was in Texas. Thank you all so much as always. If you've enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, leave your comment, share the video, and of course check the notification bell on your channel. Make sure that when you subscribe, because YouTube has been subscribing a lot of people on the channel, so make sure that you do subscribe and check out the videos over here at the end. Thanks so much. Take care. Yes. Tonight. Or 4 a.m. in the morning.